पाकिस्तान अमरीकन चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स के बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स ने अमेरिका में पाकिस्तान के सफीर मसूद खान से लॉस एंजलिस के सिटी क्लब में खुसूसी ज़हराने पर मुलाकात की। इस मौके पर PACC के बोर्ड ने मुख्तलिफ कारोबारी इदारों और सेहत के माहिरीन के ग्रुप के साथ पाकिस्तान अमरीका ताल्लुकात, तिजारती तरक्की, कम्युनिटी ताल्लुकात और दीगर मौज़ूआत पर गुफ्तगू की। पाकिस्तानी सफीर ने गुज़िश्ता 3 दिहाइयों में PACC की सरगर्मियों, चैम्बर की जानिब से किए गए अहम कामों का जायजा लिया, जिसमें कोविड-19 की इमदादी कोशिशों में $10 लाख से ज्यादा का अतिया, पाकिस्तान और अमरीका में आफाज ज़दकान के लिए फंड इकट्ठा करना, कोविड-19 से मुतासरा कारोबारों को PPP के कर्जे हासिल करने में कम्युनिटी मदद करना शामिल है। मसूद खान ने ग्रुप की कारकर्दगी पर इत्मीनान का इजहार किया और उन्हें सफारत खाने की जानिब से मुकम्मल ताउन का यकीन दिलाया। इजलास की क़यादत PACC के सदर फवाद इस्माइल, शरीक चेयरमैन जुबैर राव और चैम्बर बोर्ड के दीगर अरकान ने की। इस इजलास में कायम मुकाम कौंसल जनरल शहराज आसिम, कमर्शियल कौंसल कुरतुलैन, कौंसल मेंबर अर्टिशिया अली ताज और कौंसल मेंबर टूरनेस मिस्टर अस्साम शेख ने शिरकत की।
Many of the projects, most of them are about renewables. They're also about all sorts of green technologies. I also want to invite you to invest in post-floods rehabilitation and reconstruction, particularly in a climate change resistant infrastructure. And this would be cutting edge, and we have plans, and this is being supported by the World Bank, IDA, also United Nations, and there would be lots of money. United States would be pouring in resources there. So it's important that you invest in this endeavor as well, and it will be profitable for you. Another point that I want to convey to you is that if you could invest on whatever resources you have, if you could invest in think tanks, and there's RAND Corporation here, and if you're associated with them, Mr. Ansar Junaid is, and we're very proud. I was at RAND Corporation yesterday, and he's on the board of directors, and that's very important. It's one of the most prestigious think tanks. In DC, we have started Pakistan programs with the help of Pakistani American community at the Atlantic Council and also at Wilson Center. Now, this is helping us a lot in shaping narrative about Pakistan and Pakistan-US relations. So, if you invest locally, even minor contributions can make a difference. And why would you do that? I mean, as you have said that you've been working, all of you have been working voluntarily without any remuneration. Thank you. But the other thing that is important is that your children and grandchildren, they would live here, and so it is in your interest, it is in our larger interest that we should bring Pakistan and the United States closer. So I hope these last messages have been fully registered. Let me summarize them. Yeah. One is IFC, the FC, you're connected. We can introduce you to their heads, that way, their country heads.
Right.
If you need an introduction, I have given my cards to everybody. You have the Consulate General here, you have Shahraz Asim here, and others. But let me tell you, we are accessible 24/7. We are at your disposal. So, no, there must be some mistake.
Excuse me.
Sorry. That's the hummus.
Is this hummus?
That is okay. Yes, it's a red background.
Okay.
I can get you something else.
Avocado and red hummus.
Okay. Great. It looks great.
Okay.
I think the master ordered just hummus.
No, you didn't mention bread. So, summarizing, international financial institutions, infrastructure development related to climate change, and the third is investment here in think tanks, local think tanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
ऐसी बात नहीं कहीं जिसके ऊपर ताली बजे
एक तरह से बजे तो no, share your comments to the message, so thank you so much.
I have a question for sir.
Sure.
Yeah, please. My name is Safir, and first of all, it's really an honor for us to have you here with us today. While you were जो आप बता रहे थे, it's really exciting for us. I'm a medical scientist and I'm also an assistant professor at the UCLA. मैं basically cancer में काम करता हूँ, mostly the pancreatic cancer, and it's one of the deadliest cancer nowadays. So far, medical history does not have any solution to detect this in the early stage. So we are the first person and me and my team are the first to develop a technique to develop this early cancer detection technique. So initially, when I developed this technique, my major goal was to install and implement this system in Pakistan's hospital. But unfortunately, when I tried to contact a few different hospitals, they were reluctant to have this technology. They were, some kind of people, mostly radiologists. They were having some fear that might, leave their job. They have to, leave the job because the system, once the system is there, they may not need them anymore. So, do you think that is there any infrastructure or any proper systematic way that we can bring that technology to Pakistan's hospitals?
Well, we'll put you in touch with the health ministry, also with private hospitals. Indus Hospital is a very good hospital. I don't know whether you visited it.
No.
It's in Karachi.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised to know somebody of Pakistani origin, a Pakistani American, who is from Masood, Kashmir. He started a cancer hospital in Rawalpur, my hometown. By his telemedicine, what he's done is that whatever information that he has, he uses it to diagnose people and then makes referrals. In certain cases, when they had tests, medical tests after that, they give advice from here, from the United States. So similarly, there would be resistance if you go to the wrong people, because people all over the world, particularly government institutions, resist change. They're comfortable with the status quo. So you have to be disruptive there, and new connections can be made to introduce that technology. Since I'll give you my card, and please write to us, and we'll refer to the health ministry, and I advise you to go there and visit a private hospital and a government functionary so that we can facilitate you.
Thank you for that.
क्या नाम है आपका? तौसीफ पूरा?
तौसीफ अहमद कुरैशी.
तो कुरैशी साहब हम आपकी पूरी मदद करेंगे.
Thank you.
The unique thing about this thing is you can detect even before you have cancer, they can find out that you will have cancer in the future.
This is सारी ज़िंदगी
If you want to find out.
Diabetic patients के लिए.
है जी?
But at least you can
जो
have.
diabetics हैं उन pancreatic cancer की हम risk बता रहे हैं.
अच्छा.
Through the eyes.
जो उन्होंने गफलत में 4-5 साल गुजारने थे.
Things that you eat, and I know you have applied to.
आप कुछ बात कीजिए.
जी मेरी बात जो थी was more related to your earlier comment about relationship with Biden Harris administration and also Secretary Blinken's relationship, how they have reformed over this last year under your leadership. If you can just kind of speak a little bit about that and elaborate a little bit more. And I know things are moving in a very good and positive direction, so I'll thank you for your leadership, especially in that. Things have definitely moved in a good way, in a positive way, so thank you so much. And what are you looking ahead, and how you, with the recent political landscape that has changed, with House being more Republican rather than Democrat? Again, loaded question, sorry.
No, that's all right. Well, I'll gladly respond to it. We're watching the United States very closely. We're trying to bring about stability in Pakistan, but we're also hoping that there will be stability in the United States, and that there would be resumption of equilibrium here in the political forces, because the US citizens in general, they were worried about the kind of politics that was becoming mainstream. So I think that this recent mandate is very balanced, and it raises confidence about the United States all over the world. There will be continuity in policies, and there would be no deficits in governance, because people were fearing that if the results went one way, and particularly ultra-conservative way, then there could be lack of governance in the United States for the next 2 years. But we think that these 2 years would be used in an optimum manner for the benefit of the people of the United States and for the world at large. I also really appreciated this initiative by President Biden to meet President Xi Jinping, and this would lower the temperature. The teams would be talking to each other on technical subjects and so on. And we're working with both sides. And of course, we will work with every incumbent government. We're working with both sides, the Democrats and Republicans, and we respect the decision of the electorate. So similarly, we've been trying to bring about stability, economic viability and stability in Pakistan. And I think that we will succeed and sort out these problems. I'm one of the anchors in this positive development. As a matter of fact, you have sent your ambassador, Masood. He's a very dynamic person. He's a very visible person. He goes around. America is being associated with the positive things. $97 million contributed towards humanitarian assistance, also 27 million contributed by the community here, American community. Also banks have given donations to Pakistan, or they've helped UNICEF and World Food Program, and so this is all very good. And the United States has also made these longer term commitments. They were very helpful in FATF, for instance, and in the last phase of FATF. We had opposition from a particular quarter, but the United States government behind the scenes helped us. Also with the IMF, they have helped us. So what I want to say is, I've been saying it, I've been repeating this point ad nauseum for the past 3 or 4 days, that this is a window of opportunity. And this is a transformative moment, because if you step forward and lead business communities towards further engagement, then right now is the most appropriate time to do that. Thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question to Mr. Masud? By the way, good to see you again. I saw you on Friday and Saturday in the Bay Area Open Forum.
How are you?
And then last time
I was defending San Francisco in your
on that note that the council member asked, I think you and I spoke about this at, when we met for breakfast arena. We talked about Mirza earlier in the year. The narrative that we as a community are having, because we have our own relationship with politicians locally as well, and sometimes this topic does come up. Is there a way we can get access to what some of the conversations you were having? Because, for example, last year, Eric Swalwell, a good friend of mine, he's a congressman in District 17 up in the Bay Area. He asked the same question, because at that time, I remember Biden administration was having this summit on climate, and Pakistan was invited to that, right? So if there's any communication, any information that we as community get from you guys, to help us to continue the same narrative with our conversation as well too. Any guidelines on that?
You know, I used to be here in early 2000s, as a matter of fact, in Washington DC, and the Pakistani American community was very vocal and dynamic at that time. But when I have returned this time, their influence has grown, because they are in elected positions. They are lawmakers in assemblies, they are mayors of cities, and they're very influential vis-a-vis congressmen and senators, for instance, because they support them, they finance their campaigns, and they have votes, and all these things matter. They also are successful businessmen, and they give jobs, they create livelihoods, and that has enhanced the relevance of Pakistani American community, particularly with Congress. Now, they are also cognizant of that. So when you talk to Mr. Menendez, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committees, he is also conscious of the fact that which of the Pakistani American anchors are rooting for Pakistan. Similarly, Gregory Meeks, Gregory Meeks has his constituency in New York, and in New York we have a huge community. What I want to tell you is that we need to work more systematically. We do not want to pollute you with the impression that you're working for Pakistan, the state of Pakistan. You're working for United States and Pakistan relations. And we have to do this within the parameters of the law of the land. We have to respect that. And keeping in mind those sensitivities, we should have very, very close contact, like we had today. And let me show you, you mentioned it in passing, that you'd be hosting a day on the Hill, and you need our support in DC. We're at your disposal. What happened, Parkbeck had a day on the Hill, and they in fact went, there was a large group, I think there were about 30 people. The president is based in Dallas. So they met them and sort of met these congressional leaders separately, separate from the embassy, and then they spent an afternoon with us. It was also a debriefing session, and to sort of calibrate our strategy. So what I want to say is that let's do it in a sophisticated manner, not in a crude form that hurts you or hurts American interests or Pakistani interests. So, and we are at your disposal. Now, the other thing that when I was here last time in Washington, D.C., we used to have Dan Jada, what was his name? Sorry, Dan Burton. Dan Jada was a broadcaster, but this was Dan Burton, very passionate supporter of Pakistan. And we used to have Tim Hawk. He was Senator Tim Hawk. They were very, very vocal advocates for closer Pakistani rights ties. But at that time, Day on the Hill meant inviting some roughly 60 to 70 congressmen and senators who would walk into the room, speak, and then leave after interacting with the people. What I have seen recently, that we do not have Days on the Hill like that. We can revive that practice, because that is more impactful. The other thing that I want to inform you, I'm talking to you as well, right? So what I want to, that we have a caucus in the House of Representatives. It is headed by Sheila Jackson Lee, and we have Jim Banks from the Republican side. Tom Swazi was a member of it, but he ran for the governor of New York, and he's more or less left it. So we have a caucus there, but we do not have a caucus in the Senate. And there is Senator Chris Van Hollen. We persuaded him to convene a caucus, and he's looking for, he's a Democrat. He was born in Karachi, by the way. He has a natural affiliation with Pakistan. So he's reaching out to Lindsey Graham and Sherrod Brown. I went to Mr. Sherrod Brown myself, and Todd Young and others. So we are trying right now. I mean, if you have influence with senators here, local senators, just tell them that if in the Senate it is not possible right now to have a caucus, a full-fledged caucus. At least we can have a working group. To begin with 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 bipartisan Republicans and Democrats gathering together and discussing Pakistan exclusively. So, मेरा कार्ड ले लीजिएगा जी, जी बस ठीक है. तो फिर ये है कि बी डिमांडिंग. अच्छा, हम लोग बेशक चुप कहते रहे हैं कि जी वो जी हम करेंगे, ये कुछ करें, तो कॉल अस आउट. मतलब कुछ कर भी रहे हैं या वैसे मजे करते हैं. We have to leave in 10 minutes. Is that good news or bad news?
Bad news, but that's
Pakistan American Chamber and Commerce (PACC) is a non-profit organization based in Los Angeles that was established in 1989. Its basic aim and purpose was to promote trade between the United States and Pakistan, as well as to facilitate local traders and to participate more in social welfare work. PACC has been at forefront for last 3 decades and have been working diligently to make a difference in the community and rising to the call of needs. PACC has raised funds for many disasters, including the mega earthquake in Pakistan in 2005, floods in Pakistan and hurricanes in the US, to name a few. PACC has also helped many small businesses locally to secure funding through local banks to keep operating their businesses affected by COVID-19. With the start of COVID-19, PACC also quickly sprang into action by creating a community COVID-19 task force crew with doctors, medical professionals, businessmen, and other community members to help fight this virus and help keep the community safe without discrimination of race, color, or breed, every which way possible. The task force group created with a television campaign that ran on GOTV and ARY channels, as well as on social media, local newspaper, and email campaigns to assist those affected by this pandemic.
Downtown LA, 2 local companies announced a big campaign to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Mad Engine Apparel and Clean Beauty Concept Inc. are donating 1 million face coverings and containers of hand sanitizers to charities, essential workers, and others in need. That includes a sizable contribution to the LA County Sheriff's Department.
The first major project in this regard was a highly successful drive through food distribution in the city of Artesia. More than 1,000 bags of packed foods were distributed along with face masks and hand sanitizers. Value of this drive is estimated at around $20,000. Mayor Artesia, along with other city officials, stood side by side with the team members and distributed food and masks from morning till late afternoon.
Everyone is welcome. There's no discrimination, no lists or anything like that. I want to thank Pakistan American Chamber of Commerce for putting this together and expecting the volunteers who are here. Thank you all. Let's get started.
Mr. Jabbar Maiman, Consul General of Pakistan, Los Angeles, despite of his illness, health limitation, and high risks of getting infected, was still present at another occasion, keeping shoulder to shoulder with PACC and COVID-19 Task Force Group activities, and never took a step back, making sure to be physically present at almost all of the above events and tries to boost the morale of the team as well as all the young volunteers participating in these events. Approximate value products is $100,000 had been distributed.
बहुत ही खूबसूरत मौका है कि मैं आर्टिसिया के पार्क में आज पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी की वो एफर्ट देख रहा हूँ जो एक बेमिसाल एफर्ट है जिसमें पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स के वकार खान, राम जुबैर, फवाद भाई और डॉक्टर इमरान सिंह और कम्युनिटी की कुछ और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिन्होंने मिलकर ये यहाँ पे आज लॉस एंजलिस में आर्टिसिया में जो है गरीब लोगों को बगैर किसी रंग नस्ल की तफरीक के ये लोगों को यहाँ पे राशन फराहम कर रहे हैं, लोगों को हैंड सैनिटाइजर्स दे रहे हैं और ये एक गुडविल क्रिएट करने की और पाकिस्तान के सॉफ्ट इमेज को बिल्ड करने का बहुत ही जबरदस्त अपॉर्चुनिटी है जो आज मैं यहाँ देख रहा हूँ.
All these efforts did not end here, but the Community Task Force, which was sponsored by the Pakistan American Chamber of Commerce, was joined by other major organizations and joined the Corona War.
Because I think that the sheriff Son trabajadores esenciales que hoy por hoy se enfrentan a un enemigo que es invisible y que solo se puede combatir de una sola forma.
No, thank you guys for coming together, and I know that we're leveraging our
May 20th, 2020, PACC in collaboration with a local hand sanitizers manufacturing company donated more than 10,000 bottles of hand sanitizers and 10,000 pieces of face masks to Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, for the first responders at the LAPD Special Operations Center. Assistant Chief of the department along with other officers received the donation. May 26, 2020, donated more than 10,000 bottles of hand sanitizers and 10,000 pieces of face masks to Los Angeles Sheriff Department. Sheriff of LA County personally was present to receive this donation along with his staff members. This event was covered by the
OpTv is now available on Roku. Please tune in to Roku.
OpTv की फखरिया पेशकश दुनिया भर में आबाद पाकिस्तानियों की तरक्की और कामरानी पर मबनी प्रोग्राम पाकिस्तान को तरक्की की राह पर गामजन करने के लिए दुनिया भर में पाकिस्तानी मुतहर्रिक और तैयार। दुनिया भर के मुल्कों में पाकिस्तानी का उनकी तरक्की में हिस्सा देखिए। बैनुल अक़वामी मंजर में पाकिस्तानियों का समाजी, सियासी, तिजारती और मजहबी उमूर में भरपूर किरदार।
Kaba Fusion is a pharmacist-owned, patient-focused team of professionals with over 30 years' experience providing intravenous medication to pediatric and adult patients in the comfort and safety of their own home. Founded by Dr. Sohail Masood, a pioneer in the home infusion industry and recipient of Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Kaba Fusion has 28 state-of-the-art compounding pharmacies across the country with service capabilities nationwide. Specializing in IVIG, SCIG, and acute therapies, our highly skilled infusion nurses are present throughout your treatment and our clinicians are on call 24 hours a day. Please visit us at kabafusion.com for more information.